My credit card strategy for 2025 includes picking up 3 or maybe even 4 more credit cards, and one of them might be getting a major revamp later this year. In this video, I'll break down the cards that I'm planning to add, share my thoughts on that rumored refresh, and do a quick recap of the card that I've already picked up this year. We'll get to the upcoming cards in just a bit, but first, here's what I've added so far in 2025. At the beginning of the year in January, I applied for the Citi Double Cash. This credit card earns you 2% back on any purchase, but I wasn't getting it for its reward multipliers. I already have 2 other catch-all credit cards that I would prefer to use. One of them is the Amex Blue Business Plus card, since I love American Express, I love Amex points, and the other catch-all credit card is the Capital One Venture X, which is great because it also earns 2x points on everything, but it has no foreign transaction fees and it's a Visa credit card. So if I already have 2 other perfectly fine catch-all credit cards that earn 2x points on anything, what's the point of picking up the Citi Double Cash? I added that credit card just to get the 20,000 Citi point sign-up bonus. The Citi Double Cash card was actually the second Citi credit card that I've ever got, and the first one that I applied for was the Citi Custom Cash, which I picked up kind of recently at the end of 2024. The Citi Custom Cash has better reward multipliers than the Citi Double Cash, but it also had the same exact sign-up bonus, which is what I was primarily going after. And now that you already kind of know the most recent 2 credit cards that I picked up, you might be anticipating or be able to guess which credit card I'll be planning to get later this year to complete the Citi trifecta. That's the perfect transition to start talking about my credit card plan for the remainder of 2025. As I kind of already alluded to earlier, a credit card that I plan to pick up this year is the Citi Strata Premier card. This is Citi's answer to Chase's Sapphire Preferred, and I will say that the Strata Premier card has way better reward multipliers than what Chase gives us. We get 3x on flights, hotels, restaurants, supermarkets, gas stations, and EV charging stations. Can you imagine how awesome the Chase Sapphire Preferred card would be if it had competitive reward multipliers like this? You also do earn 10x points on hotel and car rental and attractions booked through citytravel.com with the Citi Strata Premier card. But another one of the things that the Strata Premier card does different than the Chase Sapphire Preferred is that there is actually a credit that you could use to fully cover the $95 annual fee of this credit card. The Citi Strata Premier card offers a $100 hotel credit off of a single stay when you book through the Citi Travel Portal, and your total has to be $500 or more for that hotel purchase. However, although you could cover the entire annual fee, there are still issues with this credit, and here's why. If you book a hotel through the Citi Travel Portal and spend exactly $500 before taxes, you're basically getting 20% off. Plus, you're earning 10x Citi points on that booking. That's a pretty solid win if you could line things up right. But like with most perks, there are a few catches to be aware of. First, since you're booking through Citi's Travel Portal, which is treated like an online travel agency, most hotel chains won't give you points or honor your hotel elite status. Second, you might be able to find the same exact room for cheaper elsewhere, like if you were to book directly on the hotel's own site, if you're logged in as a member and you have special access to certain rates. And lastly, if you're booking a high-end hotel, you might be better off using something like Amex's Fine Hotels and Resorts program, since those platforms give you extra perks that you would miss out on with Citi and if you booked through Citi Travel Portal. That said, I still think the $100 credits could be useful. It just depends on how you use it. I'd personally try to book something as close to $500 as possible to get the full value, or use it at a boutique or independent hotel where you're not missing out on points or status perks. Or make sure Citi's Travel Portal price is competitive with what you'd find elsewhere. Now, if you're comparing this to the hotel credits on the Chase Sapphire Preferred, that card gives you a $50 credit each year. But the big difference is there's no minimum spend that you have to hit. You could use it on a cheap $50 hotel stay and get it fully covered. So which is better? Honestly, it depends on your travel habits. The Citi credit is technically worth more, but the Chase one is easier to use. Personally, I think the Chase one is more flexible, which makes it a little bit more appealing to me overall. So if it's not the hotel credits that will give me value from the Citi Strata Premier, again, why should I pick it up? Not only will I be getting this card for the sign-up bonus, but also because I want to be able to transfer my Citi points to a travel transfer partner. And not just any travel transfer partner, but one that no other credit card currently has as a partner, which is American Airlines. American Airlines points are valuable to have, and I want them for the following reasons. Although it is hard to find, I could fly from the United States to Japan on Japan Airlines first class for just 80,000 points, or fly to Europe in business class for just 57,500 points. And since I'll have over 100,000 points from picking up 3 different city cards, I will almost have enough for a round trip business class flight to and from Europe. As a matter of fact, if you look at this American Airlines award chart, I could go almost anywhere that they fly in first class or less with the points that I earned from the 3 sign-up bonuses. But the current problem with picking up the Citi Strata Premier credit card is that American Airlines is not officially a travel transfer partner yet. I am going off of rumors and speculation that Citi and American Airlines will become exclusive partners in 2026. And that's because American Airlines and Citi have actually reached an exclusive deal between each other starting next year. And that's why I probably won't be picking up the Citi Strata Premier card until at least the end of 2025, or until we have confirmation that American Airlines will become a travel transfer partner. Although there's nothing wrong with using my Citi points for cash back, I would just prefer to redeem them for travel instead. I want to be honest, yes, I am travel biased. I prefer to use my credit card points on flights and hotels rather than using them for other credit card redemptions. That doesn't make my redemptions any better than, cashback redemptions, because it all depends on how you want to use your credit card points. There's nothing wrong with redeeming it for cashback or for gift cards or statement credit, as long as you know that's what you want and you need at the time. But even if American Airlines doesn't become a transfer partner with Citi, I'll still pick up this card sometime in the future, but maybe just not in 2025. It's one of those things where we're just gonna have to see how things unfold throughout the year, and honestly, that's exactly how I feel about the second credit card that I'm eyeing out for 2025. I need to preface this by saying these are just rumored changes. Nothing that I'm about to go over is confirmed yet as of filming, so things obviously can and will probably be different when Chase eventually does officially announce the refresh of the Sapphire Reserve card. But 2025 is a year when I am eligible for another Sapphire cards bonus, so that's why I was already eyeing out the Sapphire Reserve to snag another Chase sign-up bonus. Now there's rumors of a potential change to this credit card, and I am even more curious to pick it up. As the Sapphire Reserve currently stands, I don't see that much value from it for my situation. Although, let's go over the rumored changes briefly, because I think it would actually make me more interested in this credit card if those changes are true. The first and most important of the rumored changes is that the Sapphire Reserve will be getting an increased annual fee up to $795. This will dethrone the $695 Amex Platinum as the most expensive common personal credit card on the market. So of course, with such a high price tag, Chase has to be offering good benefits and credits, right? Let's start with the reward multipliers first. You will potentially earn 8x on Chase travel, hotel, and car purchases, which is reduced from the previous 10x. 8x on Chase travel flight purchases, which is increased from the current 5x. You will get 4x on direct flights and hotels, which is increased from 3x, and all other travel will earn 1x instead of the previous 3x, and that goes for dining as well, 1x instead of 3x. I think overall it's a huge cutback to reduce the other general travel purchases and dining purchases from 3x to 1x. There's no way Chase should be doing this, because they're just going to shoot themselves in the foot, because that general travel category is so important for the Chase Sapphire credit cards. Sure, I could see them maybe reducing it from 3x to 2x, but to go all the way down to just 1x is absolutely insanity. Increasing the reward multipliers for flights booked through the Chase portal and for flights and hotels booked directly is a good thing. And the slight reduction from 10x to 8x for Chase travel car rental purchases and hotels is not that much of a deal breaker for me. I'm not happy about the potential nerf to the general travel purchase category, but let's just move on to the benefits, because this is where the biggest changes could happen. The first credit would be a $500 edit credit broken down into $250 every 6 months. The edit collection is Chase's version of the Amex Fine Hotels and Resorts. After you book an eligible stay, you'll get certain benefits like daily breakfast for two, $100 property credit, room upgrade at check-in if available, early check-in / late checkout if available, and free Wi-Fi. For me, this credit would be useful because I like using Amex's Fine Hotels and Resorts benefits along with the hotel credits that the Amex Platinum has. So This is basically the same thing, except you're getting a lot more credits with the Sapphire Reserve. Another benefit would be a $300 dining credit via Sapphire Reserve tables, or $150 every 6 months. This is probably similar to the Resi credits found on some Amex cards, like the Amex Gold card, but with this one, you'd have to go through OpenTable, which has a special filter or list for Sapphire Reserve restaurants that you could dine at and trigger this credit. Just like the Resi credits, it's kind of useful because it will cover 1 or 2 meals for you and a partner to celebrate a birthday, anniversary, or just a nice night out. But then things get worse. The third rumored benefit is a $300 StubHub credit broken down into $150 semi-annual segments. Through StubHub, you could buy professional sport tickets, concert tickets, etc. Since I live in Los Angeles, which is a major city, I'm sure there's lots of different options that I could use this credit for. I've also been to professional live sporting events, so maybe I'll just go through StubHub instead. Next, there potentially would be a $300 DoorDash credit via $25 increments a month. I already like using the dining credits, or at least the Uber credits on the Amex Gold and Amex Platinum, so this one will be okay to use as well. We would also get a DoorDash Dash Pass membership, but I wouldn't add any value there. A fun credit is $250 towards Apple TV Plus and Apple Music, which I'm guessing would be broken down into around $20 segments per month. I use Spotify, so if anything, I would just get Apple TV Plus. For ride shares, it would provide a $100 Lyft credits via $10 a month, and I don't think I would use this every month, but it's something I would use when I do travel. And the last credit that automatically comes with the card is a $120 Peloton credits given in $10 increments, which is pointless for me. Overall, I think that these changes would be decent and fun for certain people. Obviously, if you naturally spend in those credit categories, then this card is awesome. Although I don't think that's what most people do. Most people would have to force themselves to use these credits, which makes this card not so good for them. I did break down and gave my full opinions on the Sapphire Reserve rumored changes in another video, so be sure to check that one out if you want to see a dedicated video on that topic. Once again, these are all just rumored changes. Nothing is confirmed yet, which means I probably also won't be getting this credit card for sure this year until I hear some sort of confirmation of the changes. I don't like how banks are continuing this trend of increasing annual fees, throwing credits, and telling us where to spend it. Thankfully, I kind of already naturally spend some of these here, so it just might work for me, but I know a lot of people don't naturally spend their money on some of these credits, so it's not going to be a good credit card for them. The last thing I want to be doing is applying for this credit card based on speculation or these rumored changes, because as of right now, where the card stands, I don't like the Sapphire Reserve and I wouldn't see myself getting value from it besides the sign-up bonus. Next, the third card that I would love to pick up is the Capital One SavorOne. The only problem is Capital One hates me, along with anyone else who has opened a bunch of credit cards in the recent past. Literally for the past 4 to 6 months, I've been checking using the pre-approval tool to see if I will get approved for the Capital One Savor. But given how many credit cards I've opened recently, they are only giving me the Capital One Savor for good credit, which means I don't get a sign-up bonus, which also means I'm not going to apply for it. The SavorOne isn't a card that I really need, since I usually put all of my food spend on the Amex Gold anyway, but it would be nice to get more Capital One points through a sign-up bonus and to have a backup grocery card to use. Out of all of the cards I plan to get this year, the SavorOne is probably the lowest priority card that I want. It also depends on if I get the Chase Sapphire Reserve or the Citi Strata Premier, because if I do get those 2 other cards, or even maybe just one of them, I probably won't be eligible for the SavorOne, since that's another recent credit card account I would have opened. Low-key, if I'm being really transparent, the last reason why I want the SavorOne is just because I want closure to finish off the Capital One Duo, since it's a no annual fee credit card and it's not going to hurt my wallet too much by picking it up. Before I move on to the last credit card that I'm planning to get in 2025, I want to say that I'm also trying to switch up the way that I use credit card points, or at least the way that I redeem them. My problem is I'm a hoarder and I don't practice what I preach, so you should practice what I say. I have this problem of collecting credit card points without redeeming them. I tend to be very stingy with my redemptions, dare I say frugal, because I'm trying to go for the best value, the best cent per point value that I could get for my specific situation. All of that is going to change, or at least I want it to change this year, because devaluations are a real thing. People's Amex accounts are literally getting suspended or deactivated / deleted because they accidentally have a returned payment, which, by the way, a returned payment is if you make a payment through a bank account to pay off one of your Amex credit cards and the payment doesn't go through. Two of the most common reasons for returned payments are you don't have enough money in that bank account that you made the payment with, or you used or made the payment with a closed bank account. Both are pretty small mistakes that could go overlooked by just about anybody, but yet Amex will close your account for it. Or another recent thing is that Emirates doesn't allow you to book first class award flights unless you have status with them. Credit card points are only losing value the longer you hold on to them, and I need to wake up and start using them. So my goal by the end of this year is to book at least a handful of business class or first class flights so I can start redeeming those points, and also so I can make flight review videos that some of you like to watch on my channel, along with videos showing you how to book that exact flight with points. Once again, I am pretty travel focused because yeah, I could use all of my points for cashback or statement credit, or even getting the Charles Schwab Amex Platinum card to also redeem for cashback, but I want to use these points on travel because that's kind of how I want to value them, or that's what I value at this time of my life. So somehow, please keep me accountable because I need to actually start redeeming my credit card points. I am a very bad example in that regard. With that said, the last credit card that I'm thinking about getting in 2025 is either the Amex Hilton Honors card or the Amex Hilton Surpass card. Both of these cards I don't plan on having longer than 1 year because my end goal is to upgrade either one of them into a second Amex Hilton Aspire card. For those of you who watch my channel often, you know how much I love the current Aspire card and how much value I get out of it. So it only makes sense that I should go and try and get at least 2 of them because that is double the value that I'll be receiving in a year. The only problem with Amex is that they have a rule where you're supposed to only have 5 credit cards with them. Yes, there is an important distinction between credit cards and charge cards. Charge cards are cards like the Amex Platinum or the Amex Gold, so they don't count towards this 5 credit card status. But you know what cards do count towards that 5 credit card status are my Amex Hilton Aspire, Amex Marriott Bonvoy Brilliant, Amex Marriott Bonvoy Business, Amex Blue Business Plus, and my Amex Everyday card. So I am already technically at that 5 credit card limit, which means theoretically I should not be approved for another Amex credit card. But the good news is that there are some data points that I read online of people having been approved for a total of 6 Amex credit cards. So if that's true, and if I'm lucky, I should be eligible to get the Amex Hilton Honors or the Amex Hilton Surpass card with no problem. And then since I would be upgrading that card into the Hilton Aspire card in a year, I wouldn't be taking another credit card slot. The other issue, however, that I'm worried about is that I could actually check right now though, is if I'm still in Amex pop-up jail. Because the last time I applied for an Amex credit card, I got put in Amex pop-up jail, and it was for the Amex Marriott Bonvoy Brilliant. Then again, that was like 2 years ago, so hopefully things have changed and Amex likes me again. But I have gotten a lot of credit cards since my last Amex one, so who knows at this point. If for some reason I would have to drop an Amex credit card to make room for the 5 credit card rule, I think I would let go of my Amex Marriott Bonvoy Business, or maybe even my Amex Everyday card. The Amex Everyday card was one of my first credit cards, so I'm holding on to it just to keep my average age of accounts open, but even if I close it, it should stay on my account for around 10 years. But at the same time, the Amex Marriott Bonvoy Business has a $125 annual fee, and I only use that card to get a free night award from it every year. Yes, that covers the annual fee and gives me a certain amount of value from it every year so far, but also I got that business card because I was trying to chase Marriott's titanium status, which I'm not trying to do anymore. So it's not worth it for me to keep that card just for that free night. I don't know, I'm gonna have to think about that later this year if I have to cross that bridge. Well, that's a wrap on my credit card plan for 2025, but let me know what are some credit cards that you're looking forward to applying for this year, or if you have a certain credit card strategy that you're gonna do. Per usual, feel free to watch this video right here, but other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for being here, and have a great rest of the year. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Shoots.